My role is as a consultant, as we all are. I play various roles. I happen to manage a lot of projects with some of our larger clients because I have been around for 8 or 9 years. I'm one of the more longer tenured employees here. So I'm right now managing about 4 projects at once. And one of them is developing a diversity toolkit or resource guide for managers. It's really sort of a leader's guide, a discussion guide to empower managers within this particular client to not only understand various diversity issues, but to be able to dialogue with their teams about these issues and start to create an environment where it's safe and okay to have conversations about these types of issues, where traditionally in corporate America the response around anything personal was keep your personal stuff outside of work. And the reality is people can't keep their personal life out of work.
The FutureWork Institute is an organization that exists on 4 continents. It has work teams that come together around projects and then come together in different formations and different configurations around other projects. But they're not physically in the same place. Sometimes they're physically here, but generally they're not physically in the same place until they arrive at the client's location. In order to make that work, we have to make sure that they all can stay in touch with each other and with the clients at all times, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In order to do that, we have to ensure that our technology of internet communications is working all the time. So we've made a major investment for a company our size in that kind of technology. We have our own servers, which are co-located, meaning that they're housed at a major facility in Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. Some of the Fortune 100 companies run all their computer systems through that same facility. So it is backed up, has power supply, all the data is backed up twice on both sides of the continent, and our connectivity is very important. We try to maintain cutting-edge ability to keep our people in touch with each other.
Donna, what is it that brought you into this kind of work? Obviously, there's a lot of passion involved here.
It's really personal. I think for each of us, it's very different. For me, I was the Vice President of Diversity for a Fortune 500 company for 13 years. So I was a client of the FutureWork Institute, which was then formerly Tower's parent. And when I got into the work, it was just so fascinating in terms of looking towards the future. What were the demographics? What was the impact going to be on the workplace? And I was just fascinated by it. So I just immersed myself in learning about diversity, but also being a woman of color who grew up, while I grew up here in New York City, the world around me was changing in the 1960s. So I grew up at a time of turbulence in this country, of seeing things change, and also went to an all-women's college, so it was right at the beginning of the feminist movement. So as I put that all together, and also as a parent, really wanting this to be a better world. And it's almost like this was always my mission in life, that this world could always be a better place, and to start in the workplace where it was meaningful and to affect change was so important. So I think, again, each of us brings a different passion. Mine is very personal in nature, and wanting my daughter to have opportunities as a woman of color who's a millennial that I might not have had, and I know that my mother certainly didn't have.
Josie Laza Gallagher is a consultant with this organization, but ironically, she was a client before she became a consultant. And we asked her how important her experience in the field of human resources at the corporate level has been to the work she is doing here.
I spent a lot of years, most of my career, in human resources, and I think it's a key element in helping and understanding what the client wants now, because I was the client. I was an internal consultant, I was in HR, and I think what we do right now has a lot to do with the people of the organization. So my knowledge of HR, of human resources, really helps in connecting with my clients and understanding what they need.
Josie, how important do you think the work of this organization really is?
I think it's crucial, because it's not just about an organization, it's about the world, what we're becoming. I've lived in Switzerland, I lived in France, I'm Cuban, I do work in Cuba as well. And it's a multicultural environment, and we need to learn how to leverage the riches that we bring and to be able to work together effectively. We don't have to love each other, but we need to respect each other. So I think what we're doing is helping the organization from a bottom line. They need to recruit, retain this multicultural group of people that are coming up. So that's important from a hard place, the bottom line, but also from a society place. And given what's going on in the world today, I think it's crucial that we learn how to work with each other and respect each other. So to me, it's a passion. It's something, it's not work, actually. It's, I think it's a calling. I think I've been brought here to do this, and I think it's very important that organizations understand how to leverage the richness that they have.
I've been doing this work for about 7 years now, and it's every day is both a learning opportunity in terms of its challenge, and it's also very fascinating. And I think it is precisely because we work with human beings with different personalities, whether it's with the client directly, or whether it's, you know, in terms of our training and working with participants in the training. It's fascinating to hear people's stories, where they come from, what they're about, what motivates them. And what I see my work, primarily what I see myself as, is one who helps to facilitate the building of bridges between people. And one thing that I have found that helps to make me successful in terms of being a consultant is learning how to listen, to hear where people are coming from, and not to constantly have what's going on in my head, working overtime so that I can't hear not only what people are saying to me, but in terms of the verbal, but all of the nonverbal communication. And it's become very fulfilling for me to be able to see when people get something for the first time, when there's that aha of understanding. That's very, very satisfying to me.
The intriguing story of the FutureWork Institute, helping companies prepare for business in the future. I'm Doug Llewellyn, reporting from New York.
Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Close Up on America's Business.